What's up, guys? I'm making another little video, short one. This is my son Luke. Today's his birthday. He's 2. So what I'm gonna talk about? Well, the videos I've been making about the matte beam and 13-degree heads. Well, we're not gonna run those. I come across a engine that I've actually been wanting for years. The combination is what I was after. It wasn't necessarily the cubic inches. So what it is a Chris Wilson built 410 cubic inch SBX. It's a CFE headed, CFE manifold. It has twin 1150 nitrous dominators from Pro Systems. It's a dart block. It's got a Crowder billet crank. It's got aluminum rods, diamond pistons, Jezel belt drive, front mount distributor. Man, this thing is the works. This motor is made to turn 9,500 RPMs, but on the dyno they only spun it to 8,000 because it started getting really fat, because it's considered it's an all-out nitrous engine. So obviously the carburetors are not tuned for naturally aspirated, so they kind of tend to get fat a little bit up high, so you keep from leaning out on the nitrous system. But at 8,000 RPM, like I said, and it's a 9,500 RPM motor, it made 925 horsepower, still was pulling almost 20 horsepower per every 200-300 RPM. So Chris Wilson said he built a engine identical to it without nitrous carburetors on it, and it made 1,033 horsepower at the flywheel for the 410. Identical engine, identical heads, identical manifold, everything, but he just had a set of different carburetors on it for the dyno numbers, just to see how much he can get out of it. Not saying that Pro Systems couldn't have made it. He didn't say what they were. I probably figured they was probably Pro Systems too. But as far as a full-on nitrous engine, 1,000 horsepower on a 410 cubic inch CFE SBX, symmetrical port, intake and exhaust. That is a lot. No more than the cubic inches they are. Like I said, and a full-out nitrous engine. Now we can take that same engine, set it all up. It had nitrous cams, set it all up with more compression, naturally aspirated camshaft, different carburetors, and he said it would probably make close to almost 1,100 horsepower naturally aspirated. But that's not what the direction we're going in. We want a full-out nitrous engine. So what I did, like I said, I come across it and I could not pass it up. It was in my budget. I took it. I said, you know what, we're going to do it. This is something I've been wanting for years. I'm talking about the symmetrical port, twin carb, sheet metal manifold. It's got a single stage induction solutions nitrous kit on it for now. And we're going to end up sending it for Nitrous Express and have them to plumb it for one fogger and a plenum kit, just like our other motor was. Nothing against Induction Solutions. It's just that Nitrous Express is my sponsors, and for me to keep the sponsorship, I've got to run their stuff. So, but what we're going to end up doing, I end up getting it. His name's Tony. I can't remember his last name. Anyway, he's from Pennsylvania. He had it in a Jerry Bickle built tube chassis Camaro, I think it was, Firebird or something, and it was 2,420 pounds. He said it went 729 at 189 mile an hour in a quarter mile. Yes, his is 27, 20, 40. Mine's or 24, 40. Mine's 27, 60, 70, whatever it is. We'll find out once we get to Mike Foster and have him scale it. But small tire versus big tire tube chassis car. Still, I mean, he said 448 in an 8th. Top Sportsman. He's going away with this motor because he couldn't ever get it to run fast where he needs to be to compete in Division 1 Top Sportsman. Chris laughed. He said, yeah, we went 729. He said, but I think because he didn't have the MSD grid where he can, take timing out, pull timing out on the launch, get this thing, because he was tire shaking at about 60, 70, 80 feet out, he said. And he couldn't ever. He finally got a couple good, licks with it, and they just couldn't manage the timing right with what the MSD, he had like a MSD 7AL3 or something with the little push-in retard capsules and stuff. And he said with a grid, we probably could have made this thing run in the 6s. That's fast for a 410 cubic inch small block Chevy. But like I said, this is my dream motor. I've been wanting something like this for forever, and I finally got a hold of it. Now, it's not the cubic inches that I've been after. I like to have 450 to 500 cubic inches, but you know what? For 410, for the money that I give for it, it had, originally, when they built it in 2018, beginning 2018, they run it, they put about 70 passes on it, mostly non-nitrous passes. So they ended up taking it, freshening it up. They put new aluminum rods in it. They put new rings, bearings. You know, they freshened up new valve springs. They put all that stuff in it. And he went out to make 23. First, I think it was in 2018. It was in a like a old Pro Stock S10, the old Pro Stock truck chassis. And it did pretty good, but he wanted to put it in something different, and he put it in a Top Sportsman car, and I don't think he ever could really get it work, but a couple passes it made out. But they refreshed it, put it in the Top Sportsman car, made 23 passes. Chris said 6.5 probably was the most full-on passes all the way down the strip. So, I mean, you can say they had to abort the run a lot, so you might as well say this motor here has got 6 or 7 passes on it. Tony said it had 20, but Chris said it wasn't all full passes. You know, it was short hits, and they had to abort. So we're anxious, man. We're anxious to see what this does. Last season, I had a few talkers, not really to me, but heard around that, oh, we'll run him. He's a duck. He's a duck. Guess what, guys? It's not so funny now. The duck's got the gun. So we're coming out. I thought that MBE 13 degrees is gonna be bad. Wait till you see this CFE motor and see what it's gonna do. I'm gonna guarantee 480 on no prep. If I can get my chassis to work, we're gonna run 480s and 490s on no prep. I'm fixing to break some hearts. I'm fixing to break some records. So I'm coming for you guys. Any of these guys thought I was a duck? Hey, guess what? In 2018, I won 4 no prep races first out. Tell me if you've done that before. With a 434 small block that I ain't never, that first off, never knew nothing about. Just put it in and we went. Then 2019, I had issues. We upgraded and I had some issues. Nothing that was my fault, you know. We're coming out 2020 with this bad mamma jamma. I'm gonna tell you. So these guys that thinks I'm a duck, well, guess what? The duck's got the gun now. We'll see who's running for, this time. I mean, you never come out and said it, but I know who you are, and I'm coming. I'm coming for you. So don't get your panties in a bunch when I call you butt out first round and show you what kind of duck this is. So that's the saying. We're coming out and we're putting a hammer to it. So don't whine and cry because I got this big twin carb small block. Guy, you're a big block car. So we'll see. Like I said, we got your numbers. Anybody that ever thought, else that thinks, hey, I'm a duck, well, guess what? Call me out first round, see what happens. I'm not a shit talker by no means. I'm just aggravated. So these people that think that that they can just outrun somebody and nobody knows what you're in. If you're watching my video, you're into racing. A duck is somebody that's an easy win. So yes, you're going to have an easy win when I'm having issues and I can't make an A to B pass because the car's falling on its face at 300 feet out. But some of these guys, one of them I run, don't get me wrong, I run him, and he beat me, yeah, because the car fell on its face at 300 feet, and I'm having to get in and out of it just to make it even go, and he still only beat me by a car and a half. That days is over with now. Say duck if you want to. You better come see what I got before you start opening your mouth. Like I said, I don't like shit talking. I'll let my car do the talking, but I'm just got to where I'm fed up with the so-called ducks. The people that they want to think they're so-called ducks. If they got something bad, well, we're going to show them what bad is. Resident Evil is coming out, and we've actually named the engine. We call the engine Alice. So don't mess with Alice. Don't mess with Resident Evil. So we're coming for you. You guys know what it is. Just want to say, hey, if you're watching this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video, do whatever you gotta do. We're trying to get it out there. Go to my buddy's page, Mike Foster YouTube page. He's got some good videos. And y'all have a good Sunday. Thank you.